Hello! I just wanted to make you this little video because I noticed that some students are having a little bit of trouble filling out the discussion boards, and there are two big things to keep in mind that can really help you do a good job. First place that I see students start to go wrong is the type of writing you're doing. This is meant to be persuasive writing. You need to pick a side and explain why that side's correct. You're not picking a middle ground, you're not agreeing with part of the statement and disagreeing with part of the statement. You want to either agree or disagree with the full statement. And if parts are wrong, then you disagree with the whole statement and you're going to focus your writing on the part that makes it wrong. The second thing that some students struggle with, which feeds into this being persuasive writing, is that you want to be sure you're persuading me the side you picked is correct. To do that, you want to be using multiple specific examples and explain how those examples prove your point. If you're curious, 3 is a good minimum number for specific examples. 1 example can be a fluke, 2 examples can be a coincidence, but 3 shows that there's a pattern. Now, as a quick side note to that, you might have trouble picking a side because these discussion board questions don't really have a right or wrong question or something that's clearly very right, very wrong, or very easy answer. What I'm looking for when I'm grading you isn't that you picked one side and not the other, but that you're using specific examples and you're creating solid arguments with them that make sense and that you're being persuasive with that, backing up your point. You essentially stating an opinion, that you agree or disagree with the statement and backing it up with the examples and making sense throughout it. And that's what's going to get you a top grade, so that's what you want to be focused on doing. Now, as I've been talking, you've been seeing some pictures from my trip to Ireland scrolling in the background. That's because the examples I want to use come from my trip there, so I thought as long as I was talking I could show you some good pictures from that in the background to sort of set the right mood for this whole thing. One of the museums that I was lucky enough to visit had an exhibit about Irish independence. Now, when America won independence from Britain, it was the cause of a lot of celebration. We got everything we'd asked for from the British. The Irish weren't as lucky as we were. While they were happy to be independent, there was actually a lot of debate about the treaty that would create an independent Ireland. The ideal situation, from the Irish point of view, would have been a complete independence for all of Ireland, kind of like America got. Britain offered Ireland autonomy, so they would get to rule themselves, but they would still be a part of the British Empire, which sort of didn't sit well with the Irish because they wanted very much to not be British, and there would still be naval bases in Ireland, and Northern Ireland would have the option of not staying with Ireland, but breaking off, as well as some other things. So it wasn't the independence that they'd been dreaming about. The British offered the Irish a treaty, so just like your assignments, the Irish people had to pick a side. Yes, they wanted to vote for this treaty, or no, they did not. So here you can see some of the points of the people who would have been against the British treaty. 2 problems have long confronted the Irish people of Northeast Ulster and the British occupation. The treaty does not conclusively settle either. Basically, those people wanted to stay with Britain and not join Ireland, so there's some contention there. We want a real peace and a lasting peace with Great Britain based on honor and friendship, and that's sort of not how this one was about. There's a lot of acrimony, a lot of anger, a lot of upset. British citizenship, that's enough to stick in the gills of any man. Basically, even though Britain was giving Irish its independence, they were still being considered English subjects, and for people who'd just been fighting against that, they were very much against that. And then last, we're going into the British Empire now to participate in the shame of and crucifixion of India and degradation of Egypt. Now here we have some of the pros. We have that it's virtual independence, that England has practically surrendered, that if it's good enough for Michael Collins, it's good enough for everybody, and that they have complete control of their education, and that's a factor in conserving a nation. So you see, we have 2 very separate, very distinct points of view, just like we might have in our assignment. So what I want you to do is imagine that you are, say, in a unit learning about this, and the discussion board question comes up for you that says, pretend you're an Irish minister and you have to decide yes or no on independence. Now that's going to mean, just like in the assignments, you can't ride the fence. You can't vote maybe. So you're going to have to vote yes or no. And then you're going to have to back up your vote. People are going to be asking you, why? Why are you voting yes or why are you voting no? So basically what you're going to do then, if you're that Irish minister, is use these arguments, either the one on the left side or on the right side, depending on whether you're coming down as voting yes or no, to back yourself up, to explain to people why you're doing what you're doing. And you see, just like I was trying to tell you before, you're using specific examples. For those specific reasons, you're going to vote this way, or you're going to vote the other way, either for or against Irish independence. So I hope that makes sense for you. Let me know if you ever have any questions because I want to help make sure you do awesome.